Something we almost always have in our pantry is baked beans. And most of the time we use them the traditional way, just as a side dish, kind of as they are, maybe adding a few seasonings, but that's about it. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 different recipes using baked beans in the recipe, so it's just new ways to use the same old can of baked beans. Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. The first recipe we're making today is a baked bean chili. Y'all, it takes like 15-20 minutes for this to come together. It is a very quick and easy one, so if you were looking for an easy chili recipe and you have some baked beans on hand, this one's for you. Really quickly, I would like to thank Seed for sponsoring today's video. I will tell you more about them a little bit later. It is time to make the baked bean chili. I don't think I've ever had chili made with baked beans. What about you?
I don't know.
He said he doesn't know. So we're gonna give it a shot. I found this recipe online. I'm gonna cut the recipe in half because it makes a whole heck of a lot. So we're gonna size it down. Before we go over there, Stephen noticed that we're using this. We're not using much of this. We're using less than a cup of this. But what do you have to say for yourself?
I have to say this about V8. V8, keep your diet straight.
Is that what the logo was?
Yeah, you remember that?
No.
I remember that.
But I will tell you, I used
People were walking crooked. Remember that? People were walking crooked.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and they would drink V8 and then they would be
they were
straightened
upright
out.
Again.
That's right.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have to let me know. Do you like V8? I used to drink cans of V8 when I was younger. I loved the taste of it. Not a lot of it is going in this recipe. However, I did want to include it because it has a very different taste versus just plain tomato juice. So,
yeah.
Just a heads
This
up.
little boy right here didn't eat none of that V8.
You don't eat it, you drink
Drink it, whatever.
We've got our Dutch oven heated to about medium high. We're gonna add in a pound of ground beef. And the recipe I found does not add onions, but we almost always add onions to ground beef when it's cooking. So we're just gonna brown this up. And if we need to, we will drain it at the end. I don't know how much fat's gonna be on this though. We've got 20 minutes left on something special in the oven. Can you guess what it is? So this guy wants some sliced jalapeno, or diced jalapeno, for the top of his chili. So he's gonna chop that up. So we're gonna add in half of our jalapeno now, and we'll use the rest for topping. But this is pretty much done, and there's really not much fat on the bottom, so we're gonna continue on without draining it. I see you sneaking more in there. We're gonna go with a couple of cans of this Bush's baked beans. We've got about 5.5 ounces, or about 3/4 of a cup-ish of the V8. We need to use up to half of this 46-ounce container of tomato juice. I don't think I'll quite do half just because I don't want my chili too runny. We're gonna start with that. And we're gonna use about half of this pack of chili seasoning. And we're gonna let this kind of come up to a simmer and let it simmer for about 10-15 minutes. And y'all, that's it. That's a very simple recipe. And then our surprise in the oven will be done right around the same time. So we'll just let this simmer for that long.
You gonna put it in that?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna take us away.
No, gosh, Stephen. There.
You had to mess up a glass.
Oh gosh.
That's a fancy glass. Look at that.
Would you just pour it?
Metal around the rim there. All right, here we go. V8, to keep your diet straight.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, here we go.
It's not been refrigerated, so it may not be.
Yeah. Yeah. Some vegetables in there. What they did was they grabbed a whole bunch of vegetables and they mashed them up. That's what that tastes like.
I like it.
Just the juice.
And we got the low sodium kind too, because the regular V8 has a good bit of sodium. So this has, I think, half the amount, but
You just never know.
I like it. It's better when it's cold though.
I mean, it ain't bad.
It ain't bad.
It ain't something. Let me try one more little swig.
there you have it. V8. Yeah. Cheers. You've been so patient. Is it cheese day? You're in luck. It's cheese and cornbread day, girlfriend. You done fixed it.
I tried to. Ain't much to fix.
Well, we won't talk about that. Let's just talk about the food. We're
gonna talk about it.
You ready?
I don't know.
I've tasted it.
I'm ready because I'm hungry.
Well.
That's a different kind of chili.
I'm telling you what.
Sweet.
It is sweet.
It's got this sweet, smoky.
There you go. Yep.
Sweet, smoky, and then the chili seasonings together. Amazing.
Good.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely get a hint of that smoky sort of bacon flavor that's in that.
Yeah.
Man. Perfect.
Yeah, it's not overly sweet. Yeah.
Yes.
So we did add a little more of the chili seasoning in there. We did more like 3/4 of the pack versus the whole pack. I think we started out with you guys showing that we had added half. I did a little taste test and we added a little bit more. Because we just needed to balance out the sweetness.
It was really good.
Well, I'm glad.
Very unique flavor.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, it's different.
I'm going to dig in. I've already tasted it. And then we've got his grandmother's cornbread here on the side, which is always a good idea.
Got to have the cornbread.
Gracie said, "You promised me cornbread, Mama." Yeah. You ready? Okay. All right. My carb queen. Yeah. It is so good. Ma'am, I'm trying to talk. Yeah, you are too, huh?
That's a good one. Oh, bless her heart.
So what you think?
I mean, it's a winner.
It is a winner.
It's going to be in the rotation sometime or another.
Did you have your doubts?
No, I mean, I was really, I actually did expect it to have that sweet, smoky flavor to it. But it's like Bush's beans with like, it's like a couple of notches up.
Yeah,
it's like elevated Bush's beans. I mean, I think it's a perfect idea to take Bush's beans and make a chili like this.
All right, well, we'll see you back with another baked bean recipe in just a minute. Something that has become routine for me over the last year every single morning is taking my Seed DS-01 Daily Symbiotic. For years, I had been hearing more and more about how important it is for your gut health to take prebiotics and or probiotics. And that's where this comes in because it has both. But the good thing about taking Seed is that it helps more than just your digestive health. Concerning your digestive health, it does help you be more regular and it also gives you bloating ease. But on top of that, it also helps with your gut immune function. It promotes heart health. It also supports healthy skin and it supports the natural production of vitamins like B9, B12, folate. Here's the thing. I wasn't sure that it was gonna be for me. And I quickly found out that my body responded really well to Seed and I just feel great overall. I've been doing a good bit of traveling, more so this year than I normally do. And one time when we were gone for 4 or 5 nights, I forgot to take Seed with me. Once I realized it, I thought, oh, it'll be okay. I'll be all right. I noticed the difference tremendously. Could not wait to get home and get my Seed again. So with so many different probiotics and prebiotics out there, why Seed? Because they have the 2-in-1 ViaCap technology. So there's a capsule inside of this capsule. The prebiotic is in the outer capsule and the probiotic is in the inner capsule. Now, it's important to note that because the probiotic, you need that all the way to your colon, and this probiotic inner capsule will make it all the way to the end of your small intestine to your colon, meaning you are getting exactly what you need and where you need it. When you place your first order, you're going to get the large jar plus a travel vial, which is great. Don't forget it when you go on vacation. And then each month, your refill comes in a bio-based home compostable pouch. You just rip that open and pour them in here. I really encourage you to give Seed a try. It has made a tremendous difference for me. If you use my link in the description box below and use code MANDY25, you're gonna get 25% off of your first month's supply, plus you'll get free shipping. Okay, here we go. Let's make our second recipe using baked beans. This one comes from Taste of Home, which I really love the recipes I find at Taste of Home. This one is called a Chuck Wagon tortilla stack. The only thing we need to do to prep is just shred some pepper jack cheese, so that's what we're gonna do. She said, did somebody say cheese? You can't have pepper jack, little girl. Did you just wake up from a nap? We need about 1.5 cups of this shredded cheese. To our large skillet, we're gonna add 1 pound of ground beef. All right, while this is cooking, we're gonna go ahead and add our garlic. Oh, it's oozing out. We've got a good bit of fat on here. I'm gonna start draining some of that off. Little trick, if you just kind of tilt the pan and put a paper towel down there, it will soak it all up. I'm not worried about getting every last bit of it, but I didn't want it to be an excessive amount. Now that that is cooked, we're gonna add in our baked beans, 4-ounce can of green chilies, a can of stewed tomatoes. You don't want to drain it first. It says to add in a can of corn that has been drained. I just keep frozen corn on hand, so we're going with that. We need about 1/4 cup of Sweet Baby Ray's, or any barbecue sauce really. 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder, about 1/2 tablespoon of cumin. Now let's stir all of that together. I'm gonna break up some of these stewed tomatoes. I love stewed tomatoes, but they're quite large, so I'm gonna break them up a little bit. And we're just gonna let this simmer. I'm gonna turn the heat back up. I had turned it down. We're gonna let this simmer for about 10 minutes. This has come up to a simmer. We're gonna let the liquid reduce just a little bit, so don't cover this. Let it hang out for 10 to 15 minutes. This man cannot be trusted if there's jalapenos in this house.
Put a little heat on there. Gotta have a heat on a Chuck Wagon.
So he's gonna throw some jalapenos in while that is simmering.
Look at that little fancy knife right there.
It's purty.
It's purty.
It's been about 12 minutes. It has definitely reduced down. So at this point, you're gonna need a large, kind of deep skillet. Coincidentally, that's what we have already. But we needed to be cleaned out or cleared out. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna empty it into this large bowl over here because we need to wipe this out for the next step. You can use a separate one, obviously, but we're just going with the same one. We only need 4 of these large tortillas, but you want the flour tortillas, the burrito size. So they're I think either 9 or 10 inches. They're very large. So we've got our skillet here. I've got it on about medium heat, but it's still pretty warm. We're gonna put that there. We're gonna do a layer of our baked bean mixture. I think we're doing 3 total layers, so I'm gonna try and do this correctly as far as the amounts, but you know, I'm sure it won't be perfect. Now our pepper jack cheese, 1/3 of that on here, another tortilla. I'm gonna kinda
You're gonna mash it.
I'm gonna mash it.
Mash it.
Okay, well, let's repeat. Last one on top. Good thing this is deep enough. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a lid on this and let this just kind of steam in there. Let all the cheese melt. I'm gonna turn this to low. We'll let it hang out for 5 minutes and then we'll check on it. It may take up to 10 minutes. Tell them the technique.
You gotta go in quick.
Yeah.
You can't be, look, you just can't be nilly-willy.
Willy-nilly?
Willy-nilly.
You said nilly-willy.
But you gotta go. Just
You gotta be quick.
stab that.
There you go. All
That
right.
old man said on that commercial, he said, you gotta be quicker than that.
That's right.
There.
Look at all those layers. Yes, please.
A Chuck Wagon.
Chuck Wagon
Let's get on this Chuck Wagon.
tortilla stack.
There's no telling where we're gonna end up. Oh man. Yes. Smoky, spicy. That is delicious. Oh man, the pinto beans, those bush baked beans.
It's only spicy because we added the jalapeno.
Yeah. Got to have jalapeno.
But if you don't like spicy, just leave that out.
You can just leave that out, but yeah, the barbecue flavor in this and the flavor of the beans, which is my favorite. I love these types of beans.
Ma'am, there's nothing for you. No, there's nothing for you tonight. Say unacceptable. Oh, what are you just hitting at me? Okay.
Now this is a hearty meal. Long day at work, come home, you'll be full.
I haven't even taken a bite yet, but this is the tortilla from the bottom. I kind of flipped it up. Look how brown and crispy that got.
The chuck wagon left me.
Actually got it in my belly. That was delicious.
It is so good.
It's really good. Beefy, smoky, but spicy because of jalapeno.
A little bit of sweet.
Yeah, just a little bit of sweet.
I mean, tiniest bit of sweet.
It's that barbecue sweet.
Yeah, it's so good.
Really good. Very hearty.
We are loving this. So this is a winner. You should try it. It is time to make our third recipe, and this one just so happens to be a Subbie sub. This one was submitted by Traci, and she said this recipe comes from her daddy. When she was a kid, her dad worked on a lighthouse in her state. She said it was about 2.5 miles from the shore, but the waves sometimes were out of control, and sometimes the boats couldn't land, so they would just have to make do. 1 month, apparently, her dad had used up all of the supplies as far as food goes, except for the triple B, burger, beans, and bacon. Plus he had an onion, I think half an onion, and a floppy green pepper. So he made this meal and it became a staple in their diets and at his home. And so she grew up making it and they love it. It's called triple B. Traci, we agree. Triple B sounds wonderful because we like all of that. Burgers, beans, and bacon. So let's make it. So the recipe calls for 1 pound of burger, 1 pound of bacon, and 2 cans of baked beans. We're gonna cut this in half so we don't make so much. So I'm gonna do a 1/2 pound of each. I've got about a 1/2 pound left of this bacon. I just opened it yesterday. So let's cut this up into about 1-inch pieces. So instead of a green pepper, Steven said he wanted to use a jalapeno, which of course, that's fine by me.
It's green.
It is green. Just a little spicier.
Not floppy though.
No.
It's green.
So you took what? One side of the seeds and membrane out?
Yeah.
And you left the other one?
That's right.
It's about half the heat.
That's right.
So we've got a large onion. We're using almost half of it. He's gonna dice that up. If you're making the full recipe, you may need a Dutch oven. But because we're only making half, we're just gonna use this skillet. I've got it heated to about medium high. What are you doing?
I like your hand movement.
Go away.
You gotta get that hand in there.
Go away. So let's add our 1/2 pound of bacon. Oh yeah, good sizzle. Hey, help.
Get the hand in there. Work it, work it.
Steven likes to add pepper to the bacon. So we're gonna just let this fry up and get completely done before we move on. So our bacon is done. Steven is gonna take all of it out and remove it over here to let it drain. We're gonna leave just a couple of tablespoons of the bacon grease behind because that's what we're gonna saute our veggies in. So here we're gonna add our onions and our peppers. Did you get popped? Or did you just touch the side of the pan?
I did some touching.
Don't do that.
That is enough to wake you up in the evening.
Oh. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. All right, we're gonna let these saute for just a few minutes. He's gonna add some salt and pepper.
Just gotta have the right kind of shakeage.
These have kind of softened. They're gonna keep cooking while we also add in, we're gonna add in a 1/2 pound of burger or ground beef. But if you're doing the full recipe, you'll do a full pound.
I love this little tool.
It's the best.
I love this thing. If you don't have one of these things, I think she's got it linked in her Amazon.
Yeah, I think it's like $6.
The mixing shop.
It's so good. So we drained out the excess grease, and he is gonna be adding in some seasonings. And at this point, you add whatever seasonings you want. He just added in the chipotle chili spice. Oh, and one other thing that she mentioned is at the end of the bacon cooking, you want to add in some brown sugar, and I totally forgot to do that. So I'm just going to add in about a tablespoon of brown sugar.
And that was about a teaspoon of the chipotle.
Yeah.
Around there. Teaspoon and a half. All right, look here. Look at this Dub sauce.
Dub sauce. We're going to add maybe a tablespoon of Dub sauce. Not a lot.
Yeah.
I just really love the flavor of it. And then we need to add in our baked beans. We're just doing 1 can. If you're doing the original recipe, you're going to do 2 cans. Bacon going back in. Oh my goodness, this is going to be delicious. He's done warned me twice that it's going to be spicy. Twice. We've already said our blessing. We're about to dig in. I'm going to take my glasses off.
This looks amazing.
It does look amazing. Oh, it just thundered. I don't know if y'all heard that. It does kind of look like my baked bean casserole a little bit.
It does. That bacon slipped off of there. You coming back.
Tink.
Mmm.
You stop it right now.
Wow. Sweet, spicy, smoky.
Oh, man.
Lots of great flavor. I love the smokiness, like smoky.
It is very smoky.
Got the smokiness of that bacon.
And that chipotle spice.
And the chipotle spice. And the jalapeno adds like a little, just want to grab you.
I love how simple this was and that he came up with this out of necessity.
It's one of them hearty, put meat on your bones. And with the pepper, put a little hair on your chest too. Might have a little hair later on.
I hope I don't.
If you don't like spice, bell pepper.
Bell pepper, exactly. Or you can leave it out. I think Traci says she leaves out the onion and the bell pepper. That's her preference. But, y'all, this one's good.
That is good. Sweet, spicy, smoky. I mean, that is the description there.
That's a home run. Thank you, Traci, for that recipe. Thank you to her dad for coming up with that recipe.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know, it's like a cowboy something.
Like on a ranch. Yeah.
It makes you feel like
you've been working all day out on the farm.
It's very rustic.
Yeah, it definitely has that feel to it.
Yeah.
Who knew there were so many ways to use 1 can of baked beans? If you have a recipe that you use baked beans in, you can either let me know below, or you can always submit it on the Subbie Supper submission on the Google form. So the Google form is always linked below in the description box. Speaking of, also linked below in the description box, I've got the link there for you to go check out Seed if you are interested in trying their daily symbiotic. If you use that link and then my code Mandy25, you'll get 25% off of your first month's supply, plus you'll get free shipping. Thank y'all for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye, y'all.